In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you could wash your Talaria or e-bike in general. As you can see right now, my bike is currently very muddy right now, so I'm going to go ahead and wash it. And that's my friend's bike right there, which I don't think we're going to be washing it today, but this process is pretty much the exact same for my bike, his bike, and the Tuttio, and so many other bikes. So let's get started on this video and go get the supplies we need to wash our bike. And now I just went ahead and got all the supplies I need, and for this you're going to need 1 or 2 towels. Preferably I like to use 2 just because it makes it way easier to go ahead and dry off the whole bike. A rag for scrubbing it down. You're also going to want some Ziploc bags. These are actually for covering over your battery leads to connect to your controller. You don't have to use it with Ziploc bags. It's just if you want to take extra precautions like me, I like to do that. And also I use some duct tape to solidify that on there. Sorry for my speaking. This is going to work very well for that. This is actually masking tape, and then I'm going to be using some Dawn Power Wash for the soap. And now for one of the most important parts here, you're going to want to take your key out. Mine's kind of stuck in here because it's so muddy. Then you're going to want to put it in here. This varies on what bike you have, but for the Talaria MX4 and MX5, you twist it here and then you lift up your battery cover. And just like that, you could see your battery right here. And from this, you're going to want to turn off your breaker. Not all bikes have breakers, but if you have a Surron, a Talaria, most of the time they're going to have breakers. Mine is switched this way to turn off, but some are different. Just make sure you have this off if you have it, because it's much safer to take out your battery and wash it with that off. And then this also varies on what bike you have, but for this, mine has a pin for you to just simply push this down and pull out the leads to take out the battery. And now that mine's out, I can begin to pull out my battery just like this. And once you take out your battery, the most important part of all is actually to make sure your battery doesn't get wet at all, because it's even less waterproof when it's exposed like this. And now moving on to the next part, I'm actually going to grab a Ziploc bag just like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this over this and then tape it around with the tape. Which once you have the once you have the Ziploc bag on just like this, you're going to want to make sure you have a really tight seal and tighten it like this before you tape around it. And just like that, I have a really tight seal around this thing so no water is going to get in here, which is exactly what you want. And once you have this, you're pretty much good to start spraying this thing down. Which for this, I'm literally just going to use my basic garden hose, just not on this mode. But I'm going to start off in this mode just to spray everything down, and then I'm going to switch into the jet mode to spray out all the main mud. And now I'm in the jet mode, and here's all the mud right there, and you just want to spray right on in there. And now it's been about 20 minutes, and you want to make sure to spray down absolutely every little crack and crevice on this thing. And with that, I mean the front fenders, the rear fenders, the tires, the brakes, inside and out, absolutely everywhere. This took me about 20 minutes. It might take you longer or shorter depending on the size of your bike, but you definitely want to make sure you are getting absolutely everywhere. But once you get your soap, you could just go ahead and start spraying down absolutely everywhere on this bike, which is, in my honest opinion, the most fun part about all of this. But once you do this, you could go ahead and get a wet rag or get a sponge, whatever you want, and just go ahead and start scrubbing this thing down. Which, once again, I apologize if I'm speaking wrong. It's just so cold out here and it's even hard to think. Which, while I'm scrubbing this down, this is a good time to tell you to subscribe if you're into e-bike content or just bikes in general. Because I've now had over 4 e-bikes on this channel, and I just love making content on them, and I hope to get more soon in the future. But in order to do that, I am going to need your guys' support to keep liking my videos and subscribe in order to do that. And in the future, I definitely plan to make videos like Surron. So if you want to claim what people call your OG ticket now, I would do it right now before I blow up. Because I know for a fact this YouTube channel is definitely going to be successful. And if you want, you could go follow me on TikTok, which I already have almost 50,000 followers on, which is the same username as this. And if you're into my Tuttio or Tuttio content, you could use my discount code eTronics at checkout at tuttiosport.com to save yourself some money on the Tuttio. Which I haven't quite yet, but I'm definitely planning on getting a discount code from Talaria at some point. And once you finally have your bike fully scrubbed down and sprayed down with soap, you can move on to the last part, which isn't really the last part, but the last part of cleaning the actual bike. You spray it down with the hose once again, which should just look like something like this. And now that I finally have my bike completely sprayed down all around, not a single bit of soap or dirt anywhere, I can move on to getting one of my 2 or both of my towels in my case and just start drying it off. Which, unfortunately, this does take a long time, but it's pretty much just the same thing over and over, just making sure you dry it off everywhere so you don't leave any water spots behind, because that'll make the bike look even worse than before in some cases, which you definitely don't want that. Which, once you have your bike pretty much dried off completely all around, you could go ahead and move on to the next part, which is cleaning up your battery. And I apologize because this area is really messy, but pretty much for this, I'm just going to use a basic towel and really well scrub it down. And quite literally, just like that, my battery looks way better just using a towel. But now heading back over to the bike, go ahead and make sure that you have pretty much everywhere dried. And once you've double checked that everywhere on your bike is dry, you could go ahead and unlock this and take back up your battery lid and get this off. which all you really need to do is just unravel your duct tape and take off the plastic bag covering it. Which before I got to that, which that's arguably the next step, I went ahead and cleaned up everything such as the towels, the rags, the soap, the tape, pretty much everything I had out. I went ahead and cleaned that up because you don't want to leave any mess anywhere. And really it wasn't that hard to do. Obviously it's just something you always want to make sure you're doing and get in the habit of doing. And now moving on to one of the last steps, although I couldn't fully unravel it, now I got to use some scissors and cut off this. And just like that, guys, we finally got this off, so I'm going to go throw that away and then get a microfiber cloth and do some touch-up work on the bike. And just as an example what it looks like with the microfiber cloth, I just go everything kind of like how you do with the towel. I just do this to double check that there's no water spots. And with the microfiber cloth, it picks up the water way better, and you could just get it in tighter spaces, pretty much allowing you to just get every little drop of water that's left over. Which, of course, doing this is 100% optional. I just think it's definitely something that helps. Which I'm definitely getting a Moto Cuts plate for this thing soon. I'm actually trying to make one right now, so let me know in the comments if you guys think I should make a video on that. And of course, leave some video recommendations in the comments because I definitely could use some of those. And as you all know, I haven't been the best at posting, but I plan to start posting a lot more than I have been. So make sure to drop a follow and stay tuned for that. And finally, after all this time, it literally took me almost 2 hours to deeply clean this thing, but this might be the last wash of the season, but honestly, it just looks so good out here. I'm really grateful how good this turned out. Of course, make sure to drop a like and follow, especially if this video helped you out at all. And I know I say this every single video, but I apologize for mixing up my words. I'm shaking out here right now. It is freezing cold, and I'm out here in shorts, literally slides, trying to make this video for you guys, and it's just tough for me to think properly. And I forgot to add this, but of course, you could put your battery back in. Let me know if you guys need a tutorial on YouTube Shorts of that, but I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory, as well as I prefer to wait and sit just a little bit, maybe like 20-30 minutes, just to make sure all the water evaporates, even if any a little bit got in there. But of course, it is completely optional if you want to do that or not. If you want to put your battery in right away, you could do that. I just prefer to wait a minute. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope I see you guys in the next one.